Okay, so we've got a short video on the operation of our 5SDK5 wheeled skid steer loader. Of course, for more detailed operating instructions, please refer to the operator's manual that was included with your booking confirmation, your delivery confirmation. Okay, so this machine has a 4-in-1 bucket. It's fitted with foot controls and hand controls. We'll go through those in a second. Basically, to enter the machine, you step over the bucket, enter from the bucket side, step in, and then make sure you're seated. Once you're in the machine, just fit your seat belts and lower the bar. Bar is overhead normally. So once you're seated in there with the bar down, you can turn on the ignition up there. The ignition needs to go to the preheat. You'll see preheating the coils. We wait until that light goes off before we start the engine. Does take quite a few seconds. And we should be just about done. Once that's done, turn over and then rotate the key all the way to the left to start the machine. I'll just turn that off for a second so that we can go through the controls a little bit quieter. So once the machine's operating, we would press this button here to operate the loader. Now that would engage all of the hydraulics. Once those hydraulics are engaged, we can then use the foot pedals and the hand controls. The final thing to do is to release the parking brake. You use the red switch here to release the parking brake. Okay, in terms of controls, the left-hand lever, push forward to bring the left-hand wheels forward and pull in the reverse to bring the left-hand wheels in reverse. Of course, that will turn you to the right, forward and reverse. For the right-hand control, push forward to bring the right-hand side wheels forward and reverse to bring the right-hand wheels in reverse, and of course that will take you to the left that way. Right next to the right-hand stick is also a lever for engine speed. You can see there we would push that forward to bring the engine speed all the way up. When we are starting, we prefer it down to be around idle, maybe a little bit higher. The final control on the lever side needs to be activated with the key on, with the engine on. And what you would do is you would bring the lever across to this side, and that would open the bucket, and you would bring the lever across to the right hand side, and that would close the 4-in-1 bucket. So those controls are only active when the machine is actually running. In terms of foot pedals, so the foot pedal on the left, you squeeze it all the way forward. That will bring the bucket down, and then you push it all the way back. It will bring the bucket up. So that raises and lowers the arm. On the right hand side, we push the pedal forward, and that will tilt the bucket forward, and we push the pedal with the back of our heel, and it will tilt the bucket backwards. One of the things on the arm side of the machine, lowering the arm, if we go all the way forward, there will be a detent, a click almost. Once we go all the way down, the machine, you'll feel a detent, it will bump a little bit. That is the arm going into floating mode. So in floating mode, some jobs are better off in floating mode, where the arm can move up and down with the ground level. To get it out of floating mode, you would simply just lift it back a little bit, and you'll feel it go out of floating mode. So I'll show you that in a second. Okay, let's start it up, and we'll just cover those couple of controls so that you can see those. So starting sequence, we turn the ignition coils on, we wait until they warm up, and we should be just about ready. Okay, we are on. I'll show you that floating mode. So I'll tilt the bucket back a little bit. Oops, hang on a second, we'll operate our loader, turn the brake off, and you can see I'm tilting the bucket with my heel. and I'll go into that floating mode. So it is now in floating mode. You see it bump, out of floating mode, bump again. In floating mode, bump, out of floating mode, bump. Okay, raise, lower, lean back, swing forward. Turn it off. Cover a few of the other switches. You have forward facing light and your reverse facing light. Obviously a mirror, always use your mirror when you're driving. This button here on the accessory, that will control your hazard light. Down on the left hand joystick there's some buttons, your horn, left indicator, right indicator. There are a few other features on this, an internal light and that sort of thing we won't cover, but all of that is covered in your instruction manual. Thanks very much for watching.